2 minutes to go. So we'll start. So those of you who are comfortable can put the questions in electronically. It's better. Then I can see it whenever it comes in. Yeah. So there's a form. Yeah. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunattu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So we are trying to understand the wholeness, which is also called Ishvara. I want you to see that there is no difference. Word God can also be used, but the word God may have certain connotations in your mind. So we try to use a Sanskrit word which hopefully doesn't have connotations. Because any word, if it's understood in a given way, that old understanding doesn't get shaken up so easily. It's easier to put a new word than to try to change your understanding of an old word. So what is Ishvara? What is Ishvara. Which means anything that is, if it's properly understood, if Ishvara is well understood, then everything is covered with the understanding that it is Ishvara. What does Ishvara mean? Ish means to lord over, to not control. A king is called Ishvara at one level. A ruler, one who rules, that's a better word, one who rules. How does Ishvara rule? Not arbitrarily. There is no arbitrary ruling when it comes to Ishvara. See, a king can be arbitrary. So there was a king who had a horse which was very dear to him, and the horse was not well. And a bunch of people who were trying to take care of it. And he was so fond of the horse, he said, whoever tells me that the horse is dead, I will cut his neck off. That's called arbitrary, okay? Because horse is going to die, probably. It's very sick. And he just says, whoever gives me the bad news, basically, kill the messenger. That is his rule. Is Ishvara like that? So suppose, if you don't bend to the current president of America, he will say, off with your neck. Quite likely. This is an arbitrary ruler. Anything that goes against him, he will say, that fellow is wrong. Because he is the ruler. I am the law. I am the king. I am the executioner. That's arbitrary. I mean, for Arbitrary means no reason. It's not backed by reason. And in a lot of things, like, be careful, God is watching you. Have you heard that? Means God is a source of fear. If you don't go towards Him, He will send you to hell. This is not our Vaidika dharma, okay? But I'm saying this way of thinking is there. Is God a source of fear then? Is He a controller? Ruler? That's what I'm saying. How does Ishvara rule? His rule is by laws. It's not arbitrary. So if you drop something, it will come down at this speed only. This is the law. And there is no exception to this law. So every law is like this. If something is moving, there will be a sliding friction. If something is rolling, there will be a rolling friction. Friction is what helps you to stop. You can stop a vehicle because you have friction. If friction were not dependable, you can't stop it. If you have a small opening, the blood or water will go with a greater pressure. This is the law. It doesn't change. So, what do we mean by Ishvara? Not a person sitting somewhere wielding a stick. He is Antaryami. Antaryami means Antare Tishthan Yamayati. Being inside, Antare, he regulates. I won't say controls, he regulates. Where he is sitting inside this earth to make the earth spin around itself on its own axis? Where he is sitting to make the earth go around exactly, in so much time, one round? What makes the moon show only one side of it to us? You don't know. But if you ask, why is it so, there must be a reason. Do you know the reason? No, we are researching it still. But what is the reason? Ishvara is the reason. All knowledge. So, when you understand Ishvara as the laws, the order, the one which is invariable, and if you think it's variable, that variation is also part of the order. Means there is nothing which is not exactly as it should be. Nothing. And that includes the free will of every human being or any other creature that has free will. Because free will also is an action. See, it's like multiple vectors affecting anything. Each vector has an impact. What is the resultant going to be? All vectors you have to consider, their magnitude, their direction only, then you will get a resultant vector. And therefore, who will produce that resultant is not someone sitting outside, part of the system as the very knowledge which the system is. Everything is knowledge. So Ishvara is an order in that way. What's the implication? Ishvara is not available for you to love or hate. This is how Ishvara is. When you see anything which you feel is not in order, you bring in your knowledge of Ishvara. What does it do? The disorder is because I have a different expectation. My having a different expectation is also part of the order. But there is no disorder. This is how it had to be. I need to change my knowledge base. I thought this is how it has to be. It's not true. It's not true. Then, if you say Namaha, what does Namaha mean? You hear the word Namaha. What do you understand by the word Namaha? My salutations. We'll translate like that. My salutations. What does salutation mean? not good morning. That's also salutation. But what is salutation here? I bow to you. Okay, I bow to you. Prahvi bhave. Correct. Namaha prahvi bhave. Nam prahvi bhave. Prahvi bhava means bowing down. What does bowing down imply? Surrender. Do you like to surrender? Generally, does one like to bend? So a lot of people have difficulty to bend. Because I don't want to surrender. I'm right, I don't want to surrender. But what do you surrender to? You have to surrender to the laws. Because the laws don't care whether you surrender or not. If you decide to walk across a wall, you know what will happen. You can't walk across a wall. And therefore, what do? You use the door. That is called surrender. That is really surrender. You are surrendering to the law that you can't walk across the wall. Why? The wall is a fact. And you can't break the wall just walking through it. You understand this. Therefore, what is sensible? You do what is sensible. That is called surrender. You want to see what's the color of this flower. Didn't work. What should you surrender to? To your eyes. This is called surrender to pramanam. Surrender is not bending. Surrender is seeing what is to be done is to be done. What is right has to be seen. This is surrender. What choice do you have except to surrender to facts? So when you say surrender to Ishvara, it is not like surrendering to some arbitrary fool who just says, my way or the highway. So you have to bend. For no reason you have to bend. Because you are worried, you want to keep your neck on the shoulder. So what is Namaha? When you say Ishaya Namaha, what does it mean? It doesn't mean I bow down to you. See the difference now. There is a religious way of looking at this, Ishvara, and there is an informed way of looking at Ishvara. If you look at it religious way, it is this alone. What will you get by doing one bending down? Shraddha you have, it's good. And what are you bending down to? To that stone? No. You bend down to the law really. That's the idea. You bend means it's not physical bending. Physical bending is an expression of the mind accepting the laws which are Ishvara, which are unquestionable. Because if you question the law, if you can question the law, then the law is not a law. You have to understand the law. Until then you question it, it doesn't matter. But you have to understand the law. And once the law is understood as the law, nothing goes against it unless there are exceptions. So normally as things go cooler, their density will increase. Right? What happens with water though? 4 degrees. You have a 4-degree problem there, right? That is also part of the law. That things behave differently is also part of the law. Whatever is the law. Whether you understand it or not, that's the law. And what is science trying to do? Uncover the laws. Understand more and more of the laws. Right? So if you see Ishvara as the law, Namaha is natural. Bending down to the law is natural because if you don't bend, you are the sufferer. You are the one who will lose. It's not the wall. The wall will remain. Right? But if you look at it religiously, the same topic, what will we say? you have to do namaskaram, ashtanga namaskaram, whatever namaskara you do. That is the focus, right? So now if you look at, Vishnu Sahasranama, if you look in the beginning, Yudhishthira has been listening to Bhishma for a long time. If you don't know who they are, assume two people, okay? In Mahabharata, Bhishma is a very knowledgeable person. He has voluntarily agreed to be shot by Arjuna and he is now lying on a bed of arrows, very wise, and after the battle is over, he is still surviving till Uttarayana Punyakala, and therefore these Pandavas, they go and Yudhishthira every day wants and asks them some questions, and Bhishma answers. So he has been listening for a long time. So Shrutva Dharman Asheshena Pavanani cha Sarvashaha Yudhishthira Shantanavam Punarevabhya Bhashata. He has been asking Bhishma about dharma, about karma. Dharma means flip side is karma. There is no dharma without karma. So he's been asking what is right, what is wrong, what is this, what is the dharma of a kshatriya, what is dharma of a king, when should he do this, when should he not do this. So many things are there in Mahabharata. If you have the time and leisure, it's a good book to read. It's good to read with meaning. Because don't worry about the Sanskrit, look at a translation. Gita Press is pretty decent. You will find so much is said there. Everything may not make sense, but some things definitely will. So he's asked, so Shrutva Dharman Asheshena. Nothing else is remaining. So much has been discussed. Now what? And Pavanani cha Sarvashaha. Pavanani means what? Pavanam means that which purifies. Purifies how? There is punya and papa. You have a set of collection of karmas. So papa can be offset by punya. Therefore, purifying is in terms of good karma will take care of bad karma. So having heard all this, again Yudhishthira is asking a question. Having heard extensively, exhaustively, Yudhishthira uvacha. What does he say? Kimekam daivatam loke kim vapyekam parayanam stuvantah kankamarchantaf prapnuyurmanava shubham. See the language now. Kimekam daivatam loke kim vapyekam parayanam. Ayanam means destination. Parayanam, parascha asau, paramayanam means what? It is the destination, not a destination. It is the destination. What do I mean by the destination? After which you don't have to go anywhere else. Yadgatva nanivartante taddhama paramam mama. So he says, Kimekam, what is that one destination, that one goal, that one purpose in life? Daivatam. Daivatam means what? Devata. Connected to Devata. Devata means what comes to your head? You think. Some form will come. Okay? So some form. Loke, in this world. Kimva pyekam parayanam. Is there one goal? Stuvantaha kam. Archantaha prapnuyuhu manavaha shubham. Stuvantaha. Shtunj stutau. To praise. Praising whom? Glorifying whom? Archantaha. Worshipping whom? Prapnuyuhu manavaha shubham. Human beings would gain welfare, would do well in life, good karma. Ko dharma sarva dharmanam bhavatah paramo mataha. Which is the highest dharma? Kim japan muchyate jantuhu janma samsara bandhanat. Kim japan, muttering what? Uttering what? either loudly or mentally. Muchyate, would be freed. Who would be freed? Jantuhu. Jantuhu is literally like some worm or something, any living being really, but normally used for a creature which is helpless. Jantuhu. From what would it be freed? Janma samsara bandhanat. From this bondage, from this prabandha, an arrangement wherein you can't exit. You are on a treadmill. Janma samsara bandhana is a treadmill. What's a treadmill? You keep running without making progress. You keep running. You stay where you are. You don't move 1 inch, but you get tired. I'm not interested in the health benefits for now, okay? Just purely looking at it from the fact that you run without running. It's a wasted run. And if you stop running, what will happen on a treadmill? You will fall. So you can't stop running. You have to keep running. Running tires you out. What choice do you have? This is called Janma Samsara Bandhana. Janma, you are born. When you are born, you start doing something. When you do, you earn fresh karma, new karma. Karma gets added to your already infinite karma collection. Then one more life you will get. Then again you will keep running. Then one more karma you will add. When will you send? Treadmill. Understand treadmill? You keep running. So he is saying, by doing what will one be freed from this treadmill? How do you get off the treadmill? That's all I want to do. I'm tired of this. Is there a way to do that? Because whatever you do, suppose you do wonderful karma. What is wonderful karma? You should know. What is karma means what? One is directly relating with Ishvara. It's called yajanam. Yajna. Yaj. Yaj is to worship in this context. It could also be, so we say ishta karma, purta karma. Ishta is yaj dhatu kta pratyaya. Some prasaranam happens. So it becomes ishta. You should not think of it as liked and disliked, okay? So ishta karma, purta. What is ishta karma therefore? All this yajna, etc. is called ishta karma. What is purta karma? Purta means that which fills, where you reach out. You fill a need. You fill a gap. Like what? Vapi kupa tadagadi. Animals have to drink water. You make a small pond for them. Well for water, drinking water. Kupa. Tadaga, a lake. Then devata ayatananicha, temples. Annakshetrancha aramam. Annakshetram, where people are fed, not for a charge. Samashti Bhandara, for everybody, anytime. Whoever comes there. Aramam, a rest house, no charge. Why? Our culture was you never charge somebody for cooked food. You never sell cooked food. And if a person comes, he has to have a place to stay. Na kanchana vasatau pratyachakshita. You'll see in Taittariya. And annam you should never say no. Annam bahu kurvita tadvratam. Create, grow as much food. If anyone comes for food, share. Don't say no. This is called purta karma. You are giving annam. Ishta karma, purta karma. Reaching out action. You reach out to people in need. Reach out to situations in need. Do something. What will it do? Will it give you moksha? No. It will give you punya. Tons of punya. What will punya do? It will give you a better life. Instead of being born in Gaza Strip, you will be born in Israel. See the difference, I'm saying, the difference. That's why the two, okay? Just to show that contrast. So, But you will still have to live. You still have to, even if you're born in heaven, you will enjoy life for a while, then kshine punye martyalokam vishanti. You will come back. There is no choice, you will come back. That's the treadmill. Punya or papa doesn't matter. If you do papa, you will suffer somewhere and you will come back. You do punya, you will enjoy somewhere and come back. If you are Mishraji, what is Mishraji? Mixed up, both. Then you will be born as a human being. You will get some bitter things, some sweet things. That's why in our New Year day, you make something which is bitter and sweet, or they will make 5 tastes, so that you should accept whatever comes. A New Year is not just Happy New Year. These 5 things can come to you in the year. Accept them all equally well. See the vision. So you do all this. Still, where will you be? Punya Papa is adding up. Where will you be? On the treadmill. When will you get out of the treadmill? When karma runs out. When there is no karma, you won't be on a treadmill. When will karma run out? You have infinite karma. You have infinite karma. When will karma run out? Infinity minus infinite karma is still what? Infinity. When will it run out? It will never run out. So when will you get off the treadmill? You will never get off the treadmill. So how will you get off this? Muchyate janma samsara bandhanat. Karma can only be negated by saying, I was, am, and will never be a doer. Doing happens in my presence. I don't do. Because body does, mind does, I am just a presence, an observer who sees everything happening. Why should I get involved? I get involved and I think I am doing. Then you enjoy the results. That's the idea. Right? So this is a question asked. What does Bhishma say? Jagat Prabhum Deva Devam Anantam Purushottamam Stuvan Nama Sahasrena Purushas Satatothitaha Tameva Charchayan Nityam Bhaktya Purusham Avyayam Dhyayan Stuvan Namasyanscha Yajamanas Cha Anadinidhanam Vishnum Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Lokadhyaksham Stuvan Nityam Sarva Dukkhatigo Bhavet. Sarva Dukkhatigo Bhavet. Dukkha Atigaha. One who transcends all sorrows, all difficulties, one would become. By doing what? By doing what? Dhyayan. If you take it literally, dhyayan, meditating on. Stuvan, praising, glorifying. Namasyan, doing namaskara. Yajamanaha, the one who is doing. Yaj dhatu yajamana. Yajamanaha. Tameva, whom Vishnum. Who is this Vishnu? You have to do meditation on. You have to do praising and you have to do what? Namaskara. To whom? Vishnu. Okay. Who is he? Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. He is the ruler of all the worlds. He is the boss of all bosses. Lokadhyaksham. And if you do that, then what will happen? He is Anadinidhanam. He is without beginning, without end. All right? When you hear this, as a religious person, what do people do based on this? What do you understand by this? You have to praise. You have to glorify. You have to do namaskara. And you have to do the dhyanam, etc. How is it done? And with what do you do? The context is Vishnu Sahasranama. Therefore, these 1,000 names you chant. Each name is a praise. So I'm sure there are people in this hall, many of them would be either doing daily or at least weekly, they will be doing one Vishnu Sahasranama. What does that mean? Does it mean you sit and pray and you will get everything? Is that the meaning really? This is the meaning you will get when you purely look at it from a religious perspective, without understanding Ishvara. if you think about it, Vishnu, the word, when you say Vishnu, what do you get in your mind? See, every time I ask you what do you get in your mind, to see what is the meaning that occurs to you when you hear Vishnu. Huh? All pervasive is what comes to your mind? Good. Does everybody get that? What do you get? Shankha Chakra. That's what will come. Shankha Chakra Gadadhari. Right? One fellow. You can't imagine him without Shankha. Is he always going to hold a Shankha? So Swamiji would say, suppose you go to Vaikuntha. How do you expect to say Vishnu? Shankha Chakra Gadadhari. No, that is in different place. Shankha Chakra Gadadhari. You do Namaskaram. He cannot even bless you because hands are all busy. What kind of a Lord would he be who doesn't have the freedom to put down these things for 2 minutes? You tell me. Does it make sense that he is a Lord and he is forced? You decide. He has to hold all these four and stand all the time. Does it make sense to you? And by doing namaskara to him, you will get. Does it make sense? You do so many things, and for doing namaskara, you will get out a treadmill. It's so easy, or what? So you need to understand. Why I am presenting this is we need to build a relationship with Ishvara. And to build, one of the ways is what? Namasyan, Dhyayan, Stuvan. All these are methods. But don't take these literally as you're doing it to a form. You are not saluting a form. A form is expressing a reality which is all pervasive, which is what is Ishvara. You are respecting the law which is. You see the transformation that this will have. So you're supposed to understand. If you understand and do, the dynamics are way different. So, Stuvan, praising. You tell me, what can you praise? Suppose you want to praise something or someone. What will be the basis of praising? Suppose I want to praise their work, or Dr. Indra Taneja and, Om Taneja? Yeah, okay. Dr. Om Taneja. They're doing some work. They're doing a lot of charitable work around here. Education, healthcare, they're spending a lot of time. What will I praise if I don't know anything? If I don't know anything about what they're doing, can I praise anything? What will I say? Nothing to say. When can I praise? When I know the scope of their work. Otherwise, I only tell you they're doing some work. But suppose I knew this is the number of people they have impacted. These are the number of villages they have reached. These are the number of schools they have reached. This is the amount of money they're spending on this. Then you see an impact, right? So suppose you want to praise Vishnu, what do you need to know? You need to appreciate who is this fellow called Vishnu. What is his claim to fame? You need to know. And what is his claim to fame? He is Vishnu. Vyapnoti sarvam. He pervades everything. How do you understand that? Law, order, connect. Connect what we are saying. So, Dhyayan, Stuvan. Stuvan I told you now. What is Dhyayan? Meditating. What is Namasyan? Doing Namaskara. Go a little further. Namaskara is a physical action. Namaskara is a kayikam karma, a physical action. What is the Dhyayan? It's a mental action. What is Stuvan? Vachikam action. So, how do you gain Bhagavan? To start with, you have to do Manasa, Kayika, Vachika. At all three levels you must connect. First Manasam. Without knowing, you can't connect. Therefore, first you understand the glory of Ishvara. What is the glory of Ishvara? Arjuna wants to know, hey, what is your vibhuti? What is your glory? What does Krishna tell him? You understand? Aham adim cha madhyam cha bhutanam anta eva cha. I am the beginning, I am the middle, I am the end of everything. What is remaining now? Means all that is here is me. You tell me your glory in detail. Krishna says, if I start telling you in detail, there is no end to it. Because every glory which you see is my glory. And in each there is more glory. You look at the flower, it's glorious. You open it, there's a petal. Each petal has a glory. You go to the stamen, it has a glory. You go to the sepals, it has a glory. You go to the cell, it has a glory. Where will you end? Namni namani. In every name there are more names. In every part there are more parts. Where is the end to the glory? You look at it. On one end you are trying to understand the cosmos in all its dimensions. Huge. Space is expanding, ever expanding. On the other end you are looking, you are using the microscope, trying to see smaller and smaller, it yields to even more. When do you end the glory? See, this is the idea. When you see in Shivaratri, they will say, see, all these stories if you understand in context. Brahma and Vishnu are trying to know Shiva. They present a story like this. One goes up, one goes down. And both of them don't find the end. What does it mean? It's endless. It is endless. That is Vishnu. There is nothing. See, when everything is pervaded and you are trying to find the end of the Lord within the Jagat, where will you find its end? Wherever you go, He is there. That is what is endless. Endless is not one line. Wherever you go, at whatever time, in whichever object, in whichever experience, in any perception, was only one thing which is there. That is called Vishnu. And how do you approach it? Dhyayan, stuvan, namasyanscha. And what is his nature? There itself it is told. Anadi nidhanam. Without beginning, without end means what? Not in time. Everything in time, its reality is timeless. What is in time? The whole universe is in time, and the reality of this universe is timeless. Until you recognize the timeless, you are permanently in time. Time means death. Time means birth. Time means misery. If you don't understand the timeless. If you understand the timeless, then time is fine. Because time can't do anything to you. Because you are truth of time. You are not subject to time. Time is your glory. How do you show time is a glory? You look at Shiva. There is a moon here, a crescent moon. What does crescent moon stand for? Does it mean Shiva is sitting somewhere and he pulled the moon and he put it here? Does it mean that? The moon, see, if you look at the sun is always one form. It doesn't show change. What do you see in the moon? Phases. Every day you see the moon changing. Stands for time. Therefore, you are afraid of time. Time means Yamaraja. Knock, knock. Who is there? Yama. Don't open the door. Right? But if you can say, come on, time is an ornament for me. What does it mean? It means you are not afraid of time. Who can be non-afraid of time? One who is the truth of time is not afraid of time, because there is nothing but Ishvara. Time is a manifestation of Ishvara. See, if you look at it this way, when you see Shiva with the moon, the understanding is different. Otherwise, people want to know, Swamiji, this is half moon or crescent moon? This is the kind of question you get. It's of no purpose. One place he is holding this, one place holding that. Why? Your interest is only in the appearance then. It's a good start. The first beginning of relating with Ishvara is to say Asti Ishvaraha. You have to first accept there is an Ishvara. There is an order. There is something which governs, regulates, lords over everything, rules over everything. Not with a stick, being the very law. The whole creation, time itself is governed. Everything is governed. And you first say, yeah, though I don't understand, there must be something which governs everything. That's the beginning. Then you locate that fellow somewhere for the sake of your attention, because you only know how to look at objects. Bhagavan is not an object, but still you want to look, you only know how to find objects. Okay, you give him a form. If every form is Ishvara, any form is good enough for us. Take one form and say, okay, this is Ishvara. Should be different. If he also has two hands, he'll look like another human being. It's not fun. You don't want to pray to another human being. So what do? You give him 4 arms. Now he looks better. 4 arms stand for what? All arms. Means Durga will have 8 plus 8, 16 arms. But you normally don't find anybody with 2, okay? Generally minimum 4. They keep it symmetric. But the point is, you want to create something which is not ordinary. And these are expressions of extraordinary. Expressions, forms. And you have a desire for one form. I have a desire for some form. So people come here. Some people say, because of culture, they are not supposed to pray to anything which has a human form. So when they see Ganesha, they become very happy. Because elephant, not human form. Easier to pray, because programming is you should not pray to human form. Works. For us, any form is okay. Human form or Va-naraha. What is Va-naraha? Maybe a man. Va. Va means, or a man. Man or not a man, that is called Vanara. Monkey. Hanuman is monkey or a man? You decide. He knew 8 Sanskrit grammars, Ashtavyakarana. He can't be just a monkey, okay? Much more than that. So the point is, any form is okay, because every form is Ishvara. So I'm saying, you start religious life, but I'm saying, many of you I'm sure do Vishnu Sahasranama, let it not be a mechanical prayer. Let it be a prayer which is backed by understanding. It will make a difference, guaranteed. And the difference it will make is, because I've seen people who will chant every day without understanding one word of what they're saying. Pure Shraddha. If I do this, it will bless me. That Shraddha is amazing. And there are people who also come to a class with Shraddha. Without understanding one word of what you talk, they will sit in the class. That also I have seen. In Anakatti, there used to be a lady who doesn't understand English, bright-eyed. She will come and sit in a class for 1.5 or 2 hours. And I ask her, what do you understand? I don't understand anything. But I know sitting in Mahatma's presence, I will get something. She'll sit. That's Shraddha. But that Shraddha has to now pay off. So one needs to start relating. So what is the way you understand there is a timeless, formless reality which Veda says is not separate from you. You don't understand that, but to understand that, the bridge is Ishvara. The bridge, the connecting link in a way, is a formful Ishvara. You start seeing Ishvara in every form, which means when you say Namaste, it's not like hi. There's a very big difference. What is Namaste? I see you to be in order. That's what it means. This takes you to daily life, How do you respond to a person? When a person acts, you respond back. How do you respond? If you respond to an action, and the action is something you don't accept or agree with, then your response will be tit for tat kind of response, right? But Swamiji would say you should go for a two-step response. What's a two-step response? You see the action, you also recognize a person behind it. The action is coming from a person. The person is always okay. Means, given the background, the person may do something right or wrong. That person is always in order. Action you may not agree with. You can happily disagree with an action, but you don't judge the person. If you respect the person but disagree with the action, you can have a dialogue. If you reject the person along with the action, there is no relationship. This is what you will find in Swamiji's little book called Action and Reaction. So Puja Swamiji is not ordinary. His books seem very simple. Moments with Oneself, 43 pages it will be. Something like that, okay? You read, if you can gather what it says in it, that 43 pages will change your life. One simple booklet, Action and Reaction. What's the difference? Action is where you act deliberately. What is reaction? It happens. Anger. Are you there or are you not there? When you act out in anger, are you there or are you not there? Does anybody get angry deliberately? Try. Get angry now. You can't get angry. Why? You don't have anger? You're all saints? No anger? Anger is there, but you can't choose to get angry. Means what? Anger is not will-based. So if anger, you act out of anger, who is acting? Anger is acting. Kama eshaha, krodha eshaha, rajoguna samudbhavaha. Are you happy with what you did in anger generally, or do you regret it? You use language which will make some people ashamed. You use language like that because you don't know what you're saying. Anger speaks. You use your hands also, whatever. You use a gun also, whatever you have. And then what do? You can plead temporary insanity. What is insanity? Madness. In anger you are mad. And if that is allowed in a court of law of defense, everybody should be guilt-free. Because nobody does something, there's a difference. Cold-blooded, meditated, premeditated, and spur of the moment, anger comes. Most crimes happen driven by anger. It's a reaction. Anger is a reaction. Means you didn't choose to do it. When does reaction happen? When you respond to the action. If you have the space to see the person, two steps, then first you say what? This person's, in my perception, this person is saying or doing something which is not right. In my perception, which means first guard is my perception may be wrong. Because I perceive several things wrongly. I told you in the morning, these people don't send anything in time. 1 week I have written to them, nobody responds. This is your perception. When you go, what do you find? The perception was wrong. Right? One step. Second is what? Second is there's a background, there's a reason why the person did what he or she did. Even if he shot me. Even if the person shot me, you're okay. When Gandhi was shot, what did he have to say? Or when Jesus was put on the cross, what did he have to say? Forgive them, for they know not what they are doing. How can you say that? unless you are able to see order in even crucifixion. You have to see order there. For Gandhi to say non-violent movement, he is not using their own stick back on them. You hit them, you hit one, we'll hit two. That is today's law. We will respond to you with extraordinary force. There is some place for that too. But I'm saying, the fact that you are able to see that there is a reason, that is namaha. You understand the depth of the word namaha. When you say namaha, it's not just ordinary namaste. It should bring in at least sometimes this attitude. And when you bow down to a situation, is Ishvara. And you say namaha with a prayer. What's the prayer? May the situation change. May the situation change. I am helpless and I am praying to a source of all power. And you are not praying to that stone or that picture. You are praying to Ishvara through that picture where you can invoke Ishvara. And when you do that, something happens. And that you have to see for yourself. Whether it happens or not, you have to see for. So you say, will it happen or not? It may not happen. You know? So they talk of this, right? That, no, let me not get to that story. So the point is, I'm saying, whether, how much, what you do, with what shraddha you do. So if you say, I don't know whether Ishvara is there or not, that will have a result commensurate with that. If you believe it's not there, you're not going to get it. You see a doctor's, physician's office. I used to see one nice, note card outside, hung. I treat, God cures. I used to like that. I treat, God cures. You better have shraddha, okay? That's all. He'll treat. Whether it will work or not, even the physician, if you don't trust him, it may not work. You can't say it won't work at all, right? But it may not work. Because this, depending on the situation, we put it both ways. So some will say, suppose you don't believe Ishvara and you pray, will it happen or not? Will it work or not? We'll say it will work. This is to highlight something, okay? Why will it work? Suppose you don't know fire burns. If you stick in your finger in fire, will it burn or not? It will. Same way, whether you know or not, if you pray to Ishvara, it will work. But how much will it work? That depends on the degree of devotion, the degree of shraddha, and what did you do? What did you give up? So you will hear Ravana when he was doing the puja. What did he do here when he ran out flowers? He pulled out his eyes and offered them. It's not ordinary. Or you will hear the same story in terms of this. There's a hunter, Kandapanayana, right? What did he do? There's a Shivalinga. He wants to worship it. How do they worship it? Abhishekam he has to do. He fills up his mouth with water and comes. Right? And he will spit it out. Do you consider it a worship? He does that. Right? So somebody is watching this. What is this? It's not right. Then, there's a situation. I don't remember the whole story now, but there's a bleeding happening. Therefore, he takes out one eye and puts it there because the eyes are not okay. Now, how can he put his second eye? He needs a marker to offer his second eye. He puts his foot there and offers it. And a fellow who is watching it says, what kind of devotion is this? He spits out the water. He puts his foot on the linga. What kind of devotion is this? But that is real devotion. Because for him, it is so. And on a light-hearted note, The fellow is praying to Ganesha every day, right? And he gets tired. One day he says, "You are useless. Nothing you have done for all my prayers." So he takes that Ganesha and puts him on the loft, on top. Then after some days, he decided to bring some other deity probably, and he is doing a worship. He is lighting an incense stick. When he is about to light the incense stick, he said, "Wait, this Ganesha is sitting on top. He shouldn't get it. He shouldn't get the incense." So he takes him out. When he takes him out, Ganesha says, "Now you will get the result. Because till now you didn't believe in my existence. Now you think I'm real. You think I'm real. Now you believe in me." That's called Shraddha, okay? So when you don't believe in something, you say it doesn't exist. This is why in Upanishad also you say, "Astiti eva upalabdhavyaha." You have to first start with Asti Bhagavan. Bhagavan is. Then only you can worship. But you start with a worship. What is the worship? You do kayikam, vachikam, manasam karma without understanding. Okay, but that's not the end. You grow. You understand what is Bhagavan. That is Shastra. That is Vedanta Shastra. You will not understand what is Bhagavan in the Karma Kanda section. Only Shraddha driven, predominantly. But Vedanta section will tell you what is Bhagavan. That knowledge will help you relate with Ishvara through karma. And it's necessary. Now what happens? Modern days. Have you heard of direct path? You must have heard. Some people at least would have heard of direct path. What is direct path? Look, you want to know what? What is the solution finally? You can say all that is here is Ishvara. Ishvara is non-separate from you. Equivalent is saying what? Aham Brahma Asmi. I alone am everything. Okay? So the solution is problem is centered on me. Solution is centered on me. So what's the direct path? If the problem is here, why do you read a book? Why do you look at Bhagavan, some Ishvara? You should do what? Only stay with this. Stay only with you. Don't go elsewhere. Who am I? This is a very, very attractive proposition also for some people. And it will work for some people. But what happens is this, that if you don't have the preparedness for this knowledge, you will never get the preparedness. Very difficult. So people will read, and there are people who interpret Ramana Maharshi also incorrectly, more often. Ramana starts his Upadeshasaram by saying, "Karturajnaya prapyate phalam." Karturajnaya. Kartuhu means what? The maker. Maker of what? Of the whole universe. And there was one gentleman who came to a class where I was doing this, and he says, you are interpreting it wrongly. I said, what is the correct interpretation, please? Help me. He says, Kartuhu means the doer of the action. The very doer. He says, by the order of the doer, he will get the result. Means what? The doer decides what the result will be. Amazing interpretation he has. Because he is a direct path follower. So I am saying that if the study of Vedanta, there are some people who say, after studying Vedanta, Swamiji, I don't feel like doing puja, worship, all that, I don't get interested. I can't relate to Bhagavan. You examine your Vedanta carefully. It's taking you the wrong way. Vedanta says everything is Ishvara. It does not exclude a form, it includes more forms. Instead of just worshipping Shiva and Ganesha, you can worship anybody now or anything. That should be what Vedanta does. It should not make you stop worshipping. Because for relative growth, for you to be able to appreciate the infinite reality, you cannot do so unless you have a preparedness. You can try all your logic, but that logic will not yield to you its truth unless the preparedness is there. And that preparedness is coming from Ishvara Anugraha. So, Shiva Prasadena Vinana Shiva Prasadena Vinana Bhaktihi Shiva Prasadena Vinana Muktihi Shiva Prasadena Vinana Yuktihi. There's one more, the fourth. I don't remember offhand. The fourth one is not coming. It's in Sarva Vedanta Sara Sangraha. Very nice words. What does it mean? Without the grace of Ishvara, there is no freedom, there is no bhakti, no devotion possible, there is no yukti. You can't use any tricks. Yoga won't work for you. Nothing will work. See, the way of growing relatively, the inner growth, the relative growth is called yoga. One more term. Karma yoga. Yoga. And the absolute growth is what? Called moksha. Both for yoga and moksha, what is the common link? Ishvara. Karma yoga means doing actions with the awareness of Ishvara. Without that, there is no karma yoga. Letting Ishvara give you the phala which comes, not being tied up to the karma phala. And moksha is recognizing the very swarupa of Ishvara as all that is here. Both require Ishvara. So Swamiji would say there is no bypassing Ishvara. I'm stressing this because I have seen a lot of people who think you study and you'll get it. There is no need for Ishvara. It is a wrong thinking. I'm not saying you have to go to a temple and do something, but you have to have a way to connect with Ishvara. If you have connected enough and you have grown to a point where you can accept the world more or less as it is, Sukha and Dukkha don't bother you at a relative level, then you have license to drop karma. That is called sannyasa. So I'm saying, Ishvara is not ordinary thing to understand. You have to understand Ishvara with form, without form. You have to relate with Ishvara as specific forms and as every form. You have to see Ishvara in every action, in every situation. That blesses. What is bhakti then? Again you think, suppose somebody is Ishvara Bhakta. What do you think of that? You think he's sitting in a temple. Or do you think something else? When somebody is a Bhakta, what do you expect? What's your normal thinking? Bhakta is not just that. Bhakta is one who is committed. Whether he is a Jigyasu Bhakta or Artha Bhakta or, you have to understand what kind of Bhakta he is. So there is a lot more to see. And I'm stressing these things because I think all of us need karma to grow. People think when you come to Vedanta, drop everything, drop your job, drop everything and study full time. It doesn't work finally. Until you've grown enough, it won't work. And for growth, Ishvara Anugraha is necessary. So we'll stop here, come back tomorrow morning. Rather tonight. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.